Right, I think everything is working. Hello. My name is Exabu, and today we're gonna play some Valor and Victory. If you don't know what it is, it's a war game about World War II. A squad-based, squad-level war game based on actual board game. It's based on a tabletop wargaming system, which is called, unsurprisingly, Valor and Victory. As far as I know, it came out around 2007, and this game is pretty much a computer version of that game. And yeah, let's look at it because when I found out about it, and I actually do some stuff with Slytherin, who are the Matrix Games are effectively the publishers of this game, but it's just the same entity as Slytherin. So I just looked at their forthcoming releases, and I realized, oh, this is a brilliant game. It has that look. It very much sold me on the look. And let's just do the tutorial, and I'm reasonably well versed in the system as of now, and so I'll be able to explain how it works and what to do. It's very, very board gamey, as you will see. So, all right, we really don't need any of this. I will be able to explain everything. And so, as you can see, so first of all, it's hex-based. It's all top-down view, and it's counters. It's very much this kind of ASL, Advanced Coordinator style, but it's not like this extensive, read hundreds of pages of manual. It's not War in the East. It's pretty accessible. I have a couple of criticisms, like mostly cosmetic criticisms of this game, but it's brilliant, and it's reasonably easy to get into. And well, yeah, and it won't take you way too long for you to actually figure it out and see how it works. And actually, yeah, enjoy the rather huge swinginess of this game, because it's just the dice don't... Because this game has dice. You've seen it on the thumbnail. Yes, the dice will kill you. If I don't rage quit today. Sometimes, yes. So, how does the battle work? So, essentially, it's a top-down squad base. It's kind of... If you know what I'm talking about, it's kind of close combat, turn-based close combat with counters instead of... people, sprites, right? And so you command squads, individual squads. Come on, yeah, I shouldn't have used the tutorial for all of this. So you have individual squads of units. You have leaders, which we'll talk about what they do. You have support weapons, which is in this case is a light machine gun version of MG34. And so you can have all sorts of things. You can have vehicles, you can have AFVs, armored fighting vehicles, you can have transports, etc., etc. And so, yeah, it's essentially close. It's like as close as you can get to close combat in kind of this board gamey, turn-based environment. I think it's a very good approximation of what this game is, and it's kind of, well, close combat 5, Normandy. It's that part of the war, World War II, obviously. So British forces, American forces versus the Germans, and so how? Obviously, we've got a bunch of scenarios. As far as I know, right now I've got the presumably the release version of the game. So if you don't know, it's coming out on the 17th of June, so next Thursday. And so as far as I know, it's kind of about 20-25 scenarios divided between two sectors of the kind of this Operation Overlord. And you can get like all sorts of objectives and everything. So how does this game take place? So the idea is it's divided into phases. And so right now we have the command phase, and usually you don't do too much during it. So you can split your squads into two half squads. It's kind of a technical thing, and right now we really needn't concern ourselves with. Plus, as you can see, every squad can have a support weapon attached to it. It could be machine guns, it could be heavy machine guns, it could be grenades, it could be satchel charges, it could be mortars, even though I haven't seen them in this game, because it's a very faithful representation of Valor and Victory, the tabletop war game from about 15 years ago. All right, so you can actually look the manual up for this game. It actually has a manual. It comes with a manual, and actually look at the manual for the original war game, and you'll see that it's effectively the same manual. So the manual for this game for Valor and Victory. By the way, I've forgotten about capture cursor. Let's look at this. It should go. Hello. Yes, now you can see the cursor. I usually I keep the cursor off for making footage on OBS, but using OBS, yes, so the picture will return promptly, right? And so, so that's it. So commands phase is nothing special. You can do a couple of these utility things. Splitting your squads is sometimes important if you want to cover more ground, if you want to force the enemy to kind of spread their fire around. You'll see how it works. It's a really reasonably accessible game. It will require, if you really want to get into the nitty-gritty, if you really want to get understand how the system works, you obviously will have to read the manual. I think the game could have been a little bit could have had a little bit more information in the game, but otherwise, yeah, just look at the manual. It's pretty clear. It's if you're not a complete alien to manuals, especially if you are familiar with war games, which I am absolutely. That's the reason I looked at this game and sort of thought, oh, brilliant. If you really think that like manuals are right, and especially shorter ones, because like this one is not crazy. You don't have to read everything to understand it. And so, so we've got the fire phase, and this is essentially kind of the core parts. After the command phase, we can choose any of our units to fire at the enemy if they can. So right, obviously there's line of sight, and we have this tool, this binocular tool, which gives us all of the line of sight from this specific hex. Right, and the enemy obviously are in the line of sight. Yes, we've just got the field. They are sitting in the building, so they are getting a +3 to their defense. And so how this works. Right, so let's click on it, and we've got actual dice. And so I missed them, and so what happened here, effectively, this APFB thing is anti-personnel firepower. And so that's the first number written on the counter, on the infantry counter. That's their strength. That's how strong their fire. So that's not a lot. It's just 4, right? It actually depends on how strong the squad is. If it has sustained any casualties, it has been damaged or anything. These guys are in full strength, so they've got just 4 firepower. So, and then we look at the table. This is the very hardcore wargamey stuff, but really, this is simplified and really accessible. Once you know how it works, it's not gonna be a problem, right? So, in order for me to deal any damage to the enemy, to the targets, I need to roll no more than 6. But then we've got the modifiers, so these guys are in a well-defended position, so in a house, so it increases all of my rolls by 3. So if I roll 2, I get 5, etc., etc. So obviously I needed to roll at least, so the higher the number you get on your dice is the worse. Usually, you really want those 2s and 3s, etc. So, and obviously I got 7, I plus 3, and I completely missed, right? So had it been somewhere in this region, right? So had I got, for example, 3, a 3, I would probably inflicted some damage onto the enemy and may have pinned them down also. Or maybe some of these guys down. As you can see, it's just 3 squads. It's a whole platoon there. 3 squads and a leader, right? So that's pretty much how it works. So let's look at our next stack. And so here we can actually, unlike this place, unless like this tiny little stack, which is not a stack at all, you've just got one squad here. Here we have a bunch of units, right? So we've got a squad and a leader, and the squad has a light machine gun. And so all of these left numbers on these counters are firepower. And so yeah, so that's what I am getting. So I'm getting a sum. Whenever I'm attacking with all of them, and I don't have to attack with all of them, for example, I can deselect the leader or the squad, right? And so I'm getting 8, for example. And if I attack them, I'm guessing... So I'm looking at a different row, obviously failing. I'm looking at a different... This is just the beginning. Trust me, I'm going to fail all the time. So I'm looking at a different row of the table. And, well, yeah. In this case, for example, I'm guessing actually 2 modifiers. And actually, that's one of the reasons to have commander actually attacking with you. A commander, a leader. Right, so... And, yeah, so in this case, for example, a commander, a leader, actually gives you a bonus to attacks, right? So... And kind of mitigates the defensive bonus of the enemy, so it's +2 in this case. And for example, I needed at least 5 or less if I were to inflict any damage, and I obviously failed. I got 10, so +2, it's 12, so not gonna happen. That's pretty much the crux of battle. That's pretty much the crux of infantry battle. So you can have other weapons. You can, as you can see, there is a sense, there is a point, there is a reason to concentrate your firepower, because obviously if you can get like those 25 to 40, that's a lot of firepower, and it increases your chances of like breaking holes in the enemy drastically. So it's well, obviously it's like it's a numbers game. It's a numbers and it's a chance game. Everything is about these dice. And so as you can see, yeah, so that's how it works. This is the fire state, the fire stage step phase. Right, that's right. That's the name of it. God. So after the fire phase, obviously you don't have to do anything with these units, right? So you can select them and fire with them, or you can leave, because a unit can only do one thing per turn, right? So the next step is move phase. And so this is where you can actually, well, move your troops, right? And they've activated my troops. So this is a tutorial. Normally that wouldn't happen. So if you want to move your troops, you really can't fire during the fire stage. And so normally infantry has 4 movement points, and leaders have 6 movement points. If a unit is moving with a leader, they're all 6 movement points. And obviously, different types of terrain consume different types of, different amounts of movement points. And so, obviously, as we move, there is a tax of opportunity. So, as you can see, the British soldiers in that house are not suppressed. They still have their movement, their action, right? And so I can, and obviously this area is completely within their line of sight. So if I decide to move towards them, and let's do that. So they'll get an attack of opportunity and fail in this case. Oh no! Wait a sec. Oh no, they're in the open. So, and they've got a leader. So they rolled 8, -2, and they significantly damaged me. So that's 3 damage. And as you can see, the last number... Actually, I kind of forget what the middle number was right now, even though I kind of reviewed everything. So the last number of these on these counters is essentially what's the health of the unit. So, and as you can see, the health actually affects the amounts of firepower you've got, which is reasonable. If you lose a bunch of riflemen, well, you can't shoot as many rifles at any single time, right? So this is how it works, and yeah. And if a unit is completely destroyed, well, it's completely destroyed. Well, say goodbye to it. But yeah, let's keep moving up. And yeah. And I'm guessing this is it. You can shoot smoke with your units, right? So just like close combat, actually. Which prevents... Actually, I don't think it creates like an obstacle, like gives you any... it gives you defensive bonuses, but it like doesn't break the line of sight. Actually, I haven't used smoke too much, but it would have been helpful had I had it. You actually have this infantry, the assault movement. It kind of reduces the penalties, well, for any fire opportunity. And that's pretty much it. So there are like some transport things, but we don't have any vehicles. And now, in addition, after your move, the enemy gets a defensive fire phase. And obviously, when the AI moves or the other player moves, because as far as I know, the game is gonna get that Slytherin's play by email kind of multiplayer at least, right? So it's expected that some people will want to and look into playing it against real humans, and which is actually, in my opinion, it's like the ultimate. Well, what board games are great for, right? So if this is kind of a simulation, a kind of digitization of a brick and mortar probably isn't the right expression. So brick and mortar, real life counters and boards, actually tabletop experience. Obviously, it's like one of the advantages of playing board games, like having people right in front of you. And well, this is a bit like as close as you can get. Right, so the enemy actually could have fired at me, but because of the fire opportunity, they actually lost their ability to do that. So it's always one action. Right, and the last phase is the advance and assault phase. So in this phase, you can actually move your troops one hex. I really don't remember how it was with vehicles. Vehicles were slightly more restricted, and vehicles were actually it mattered. The facing of the vehicle mattered, so you can actually turn your vehicles during the assault and advance phase, but you can actually move them your infantry one hex, and you can do assault attacks, which is essentially like try and assault a hex, try and assault an enemy position right from essentially hand-to-hand combats. It's not just like, firefights from the distance. Yeah, you just get in and attack. And how it works, well, we'll see right now. So essentially, like the anti-personnel firepower of both the sides counts, and so it also doesn't count any defensive bonuses for fortifications or cover, right? So it doesn't count. So you're just like going into hand-to-hand combat, and effectively what you need to get is, well, the prediction is, because, well, the difference between our firepowers is actually pretty drastic, and they're much better prepared than me. And so usually you have to have a strong force attacking, obviously. But as far as I remember, you just need to get a number less than what is shown here, right? So to inflict any serious damage, right? So the higher you roll, it's pretty much the name of the game. The higher you roll, the more screwed you are. And also the ratio is effectively the predicted casualty rates, right? So, and the defenders actually lost some troops, but I lost so much more. And let's look at this. So I lost my machine gun, and I'm betting, so I probably will, if I sustain some more damage, they'll just die. And so, as far as I remember, if you get 1-4 ratio, the attackers automatically take over the hex. So if I had I won this firefight, this close assault, I would have killed all of the enemies and taken that hex, right? So this is very powerful, obviously. And there are some support weapons like grenades, which are expendable, give you huge bonuses in there. Well, this kind of makes sense, obviously, right? So, and if it's 1-4, it's kind of auto kill. So defenders are destroyed, and yeah, this is how it is, right? So let's end this turn. So now it'll be command phase for the command phase for the enemies. Oh, okay, we'll have to play a proper scenario. So let's just go for the American sector. First mission, so we'll play as the Axis. The game kind of suggests, as you can see, we've got, 10 scenarios, I'm assuming, so the game, I don't know if it's going to be like that. So this is the version I've got, so it's 2 sectors, the British sector and the American sector in the Battle of Normandy. And so, yeah, each of those sectors has 10 missions, right? Oh, the British actually has 9. Alright, so this is what I've got. I'm not entirely sure if it's going to be, like, in the release version. So as far as I know, they've been updating the game, prior to this, there had been a press version, an early press version, which only had 2 scenarios. But let's look at the... So you've got scenarios, and in most cases, you probably will not be able to complete them perfectly or well on your first try. Zenta Belgrade said, "Savages, someone shot half of Bird's V formation." Oh yes, those those very, very straight line bird formations in this game. Yeah, those tiny little... Like, speaking of graphics in this game, obviously this is not like top of the line, like, okay, 2021, like top of technology, like the bestest, the latest. Obviously it isn't. It's kind of emulating the style of the original game, of the board game, and well, it does it well. I really enjoy it. It's simple, but it's appealing. I certainly, in terms of graphics, I have no complaints. It's obviously not trying to be this cutting edge, and it's trying to kind of emulate the game experience, the board game experience, the tabletop experience. So, and I think it does it well. Right, so there will be some criticism of this game, and I will get back to it a little bit later. So let's look at this. So we've got, in this case, our purpose is to kill as many Americans as we can. We're playing as the Axis, the Americans are advancing. As you can see, so they've got a bunch of paratroopers, and these are just half squads, so it's just 2 firepower and 3 casualty ratings, so they're not going to sustain lots of damage. And so they've got a few more paratroopers, and paratroopers with grenades, which is not nice. And so, and they're waiting for proper infantry, actually, for more strong paratrooper infantry to come in. So, and as you can see, they've got a bunch of support weapons, really serious support weaponry, and the Americans have really nice leaders. So they give -2 bonus to attacks. It's kind of very much like Advanced Dungeons and Dragons 2.5. So the lower the number, the better. Like with armor and to hit at armor class 0 and everything, all that stuff. So essentially, these guys give -2 bonus to my only leader here, and I've got a proper platoon here. Right, so they're pretty well equipped, but they've got a weaker leader here, and obviously we've got a couple of rifle squads with MGs. I'm pretty well equipped with MGs, right? So it's very appropriate for the Germans. I'm certainly better in that regard. Oh, the middle number, by the way, the middle number on these counters is 566. So these paratroopers are 5 firepower. They're very strong. They've got very strong firepower, as you can see. So the German infantry platoon is just 4. Which kind of is reflective of the fact that the paratroopers had, well, American infantry had M1 Garrons and M1 carbines and everything. And so it's 566, so they can they can shoot up to 6 hexes at a distance of up to 6 hexes, and the distance matters a little bit in terms of to hit and what you can do with your fire, but generally only for vehicles, I found. So for infantry, obviously it's like this is not more than like maybe 200 meters, right? So at 200 meters, you're gonna get killed by a rifle round. So it doesn't matter if it's 20 or 200, right? So, and the last point is obviously the number of hit points the unit has, right? So now this we've got the command phase. We've got a couple of options to actually do these some of these utility things, and I really don't think I will need to do it. So let's go straight to fire. And at this point, we've got 1 target. So we've got these paratroopers, and our task here is to, well, kill as many Americans as we can. So this is just stopping them. We don't have any specific objectives or points to hold. And so let's start shooting these guys up. So we've got pretty decent firepower. So we rolled 6, but they are in a foxhole. These are kind of, this is like not a trench. This is kind of this defended position, and it gives them +2. Well, it actually kind of saved them. And I don't have line of sight anywhere else, so all of the other guys will have to move this turn. Yeah, thank you. And And the thing is, I kind of dislike the idea of maybe rushing towards this area. But, like, as you can see, these guys are just half squad. So I could move in here. And then during the last phase, which is assault, allows me to assault nearby positions, we'll just assault them because they're much weaker and I have much better chance of actually destroying them. Right, so what I'm gonna do, first and foremost, I'm gonna move this squad here because obviously you can see, because these guys are scary. They're stronger than my infantry, but they're far away, so they'll have to wait. The Americans will have to wait before these guys come in, so there'll be a couple of turns before they are able to participate in the battle. So I really need to exploit it, so I need to kill as many of these weaker half-squad units as I can. Right, so, and here I can actually, because I'm kind of scared of the attack of opportunity, because these guys will shoot back as I move in, right? I'm within the line of sight, so I'm using the assault movements, and actually gives me +1 cover modifier. So I'm really running fast, and, well, or maybe finding, like, I don't know, shell holes or something, incidental shell holes, and I'm moving in. And so they're doing opportunity fire. They're completely unlucky. I really shouldn't have used that, but it's not like it's not a limited resource. So yeah, let's move into those buildings. They're pretty well fortified, and so they're pretty safe. And I'm guessing this is it for the moment. I'm pretty happy with how it goes. This is kind of a natural defensive line here. Obviously, I don't need to hold anything, but I'm pretty well positioned here. I'm pretty well defended, and the Americans will get pretty nasty penalties trying to push into those buildings. Right, so let's let the American troops shoot at us, and I wonder if they can. They can't. So they will waive their rights. Right, so we're not getting any fire from the Americans. Alright, so they took no action, so let's go for the advance and assault phase. And I'm guessing I'll just, well, assault these paratroopers. I've got a decent amount of... Oh, no, oh, I misclicked. I've got a satchel charge. As far as I remember, satchel charges actually give you a huge bonus to attacking the next hex. So I'm probably gonna 100% kill them. Yes, so I need to get 10 or less. So I've got 3, and they're completely destroyed. And I've lost some troops, actually. So attackers losses 3. So my squad, actually, my squad has been reduced to half a squad. But I've destroyed the American one. So, all right, so this is good. This is good. Right, so... And we've wiped out the defenders, and I think this is it, but I could use this advance and assault phase to advance my troops even further. Right, so let's do this, and, well, let the Americans do their thing. Hello, Martin Ellis Ward. Right. Holy crap, I've got 9 concurrent viewers. I think that's pretty much the maximum on this channel since I actually started doing streams on my YouTube channel. So thank you for listening. I highly appreciate it, and I hope you look at this game and enjoy it, because I know, like, this game is a light war game, and it's kind of supposed to be accessible and everything, but I know that many people are not going to be swayed and attracted by this stylistic. Obviously, it's not Panzer 2, obviously. It doesn't have these shiny, nice miniatures and everything. But I personally, I'm sure I'm by no means unique. By no means unique in the sense that I'm not by no means unique in finding this kind of style attractive, right? So there's something to it. There's something to having these almost cardboard bits. Obviously, I'm a fan of board games, but, like, having these cardboard bits, like, moving around and everything, there's something to it. There's something to it. I don't know. It's just a visceral, natural, unthinking appeal. All right, so we've got this very strong platoon concentrated in here. And so we're going to get, a crap load of firepower, like, thanks to all of these MGs. So just 7 from just the MGs, plus 12 from the squads, and plus 1 from the laser, so it's going to be 20. So it's a very strong attack, and obviously I need to kill as many as I can. So let's go for the least defended, right? So alternatively, I could actually attack these guys and potentially kill them, and then move in here and maybe assault these paratroopers. You know what? I'll do that because I've got these grenades. It's really kind of asking for an assault attack. So let's go for these paratroopers in the house. Let's see what I get. So I'm almost like the fourth line, and I'm failing, obviously. Yes, I forgot to mention that. This game is very dependent on the die rolls, and sometimes just the dice really hate you. The dice really hate you. That's actually one of the things that maybe some people will not like. I know there are like war gamers and turn-based TBS, yeah, turn-based strategy. Yes, that's the correct meaning of the acronym. So initialism. So turn-based strategy lovers, like, I don't know, XCOM and everything, who don't like this swinginess that comes with the dice, right? So they really want to, kind of control more. Sometimes, yes, your strategy, your ideas, your expertise, your knowledge of the system, your kind of chess-like planning really matters, right? But sometimes it just doesn't go your way. It just doesn't happen the way you like it or want it to be. So yes, the dice decided here, and that's the reason I actually put those "you're dead" in the thumbnail to this stream, because the dice sometimes really hate you. They really want to kill you. Right, so let's try to kill this tiny half squad, because here I think I will retreat with these kind of damaged riflemen. So let's hopefully maybe get a decent roll. Obviously not. And so let's try to kill them again with my platoon. Oh, nice. So they've been destroyed. I've inflicted crap loads of damage. So as the table shows, I've inflicted 5 damage, and this is what it is. And so I'm doing pretty well. And so these guys are not shooting, but I'm thinking that these guys should. Oh, interesting. So the steeple, I'm assuming this is the church, is actually not within the line of sight. This building actually obstructing it. So let's shoot at the half squad, and obviously I'm getting a terrible roll. And now I'm gonna retreat with my infantry. I'll give them assault moves so that they get a little bonus to their defenses, because there will be opportunity fire. And let's retreat. Oh, interesting. So they didn't get opportunity fire. I wonder why, because this is within line of sight. But as far as I know, I've read up on the manual for the original game, and I think like these opportunity fires are actually dependent on what the player chooses. So if the player chooses not to inflict or like use the opportunity fire because they want that same unit to do something later, obviously they can choose not to do opportunity fire. Right. So this is my movement done. Let's see what the American paratroopers shoot at. Okay, they're going for the obvious targets and obviously missing. Oh, not obviously. Sometimes it really feels like the AI is almost cheating. It's getting all these crazy rolls and 2s and 4s and 1s and 3s. It can't be 1. Yeah, it can be 1s. They are cheating. They've got a 0 on one of their dice. Right? And sometimes it really feels like the AI is really cheating, but obviously it isn't, because it's kind of psychological, like nasty things happening to you, like leave more of a memory, more of a kind of this imprints in your mind than tiny little victories, tiny little 2s and 3s you get sometimes, obviously. And when the AI gets a bit of a streak, it's like, come on, no, that's not how it should happen. Right, so I've moved my units up, so I'm assuming this half squad is going to die next turn. I'm kind of not very well positioned. As you can see, the scenario is not endless. So I've got 6 turns, and this is turn 2, the end of turn 2. Right, so actually this is... Oh, Oh, this is the end of my turn too, so I'll get the chance to actually shoot at them. And so I really need to inflict as much damage to the Americans as I can. And that kind of interestingly, the AI has decided not to move its platoon of paratroopers or well-equipped and strong paratroopers into the battle. I don't know why. Ooh, just protected by the building. The paratroopers got a nice. Okay, finally. As soon as I speak of the devil, as soon as I decided to actually talk about them not moving, they moved. Okay, interesting. So it's our turn to do some defensive fire. And interestingly, so the paratroopers have decided to move up their leader. And the thing is, it's on the one hand, it's kind of scary because they've got the grenades. And if they move in very closely, they will be able to assault me with very nice bonuses. But at the same time, they're sitting in that trench, in that foxhole. It's kind of bear hole, in this entrenchment, and it's weaker than buildings. So let's see if I can actually. They're not within line of sight. Only for these. This is not great. What I'll have to do. Let's see if I can deal any damage to these guys. No, it's not happening. And yeah, as you can see, like some of the rules of line of sight are very familiar to me from other six-sided hex-based war games. So, for example, here we've got one building here, but it's kind of along the line because, as is usual for war games, the line of sight is decided between the centers of the hexes. And so, like, if you can draw a line between the center of the hexes and there's no obstacle, obviously, you are getting line of sight. And this is one of actually those cases. Actually, had there been a building here, even a separate building, you wouldn't have been able to actually have a line of sight here. Right, yeah, let's do the firing. I'll get some grenades. These guys are dead meat. No? Yes, thanks to the laser and thanks to the grenades, which I've wasted, apparently, I've just pinned them. And, well, I dealt some casualty points, but, like, they didn't lose any real troops. Somebody got wounded and pinned down. Right, so, and now they can do their little advanced assaults, and I'm assuming, yes, they're concentrating their forces, which is not great. My only hope... Okay, so I still get I'm getting a chance of actually shooting at them and maybe dealing some damage to them. So I'm not doing any command phase shenanigans, because I kind of have a feeling it's, like, for example... I see many new people in the stream. So just to explain, so our command phase is the first phase of the turn, and you've got like essentially two little things you can do with your troops. You can split your squads, right? If you've got full squads, for example, these guys 262 are half a squad, but you can split full squads into half squads and have effectively more counters, if more units on the battlefield. They're weaker, they're easier to kill. But I see this feature to be more of an experienced player thing, because as you can see, for example, with all of the battle prediction tables and everything, sometimes it's nice like, it doesn't matter what the exact number of firepower number of the unit is. For example, if it's 2 or is it 4, it doesn't matter. You still get the first line on the table, right? So if you have two units with a firepower rating of 2, it's still much better than having one unit with a firepower of 4. So it's kind of, I haven't tried it yet, and I'm probably not going to try it in this scenario, but I feel that it's a significant and important tool for a more experienced player. And the second ability is to actually, well, you can split squads into half squads and get more units on your map. Or you can unite half squads into 4 squads, and you can move your support weapons, MGs, grenades, like bags of grenades, satchel charges, mortars, around from squad to squad, right? And I'm not going to do any of that. In most cases, you don't. So we can do some fire, and I'm hoping I'll be able to kill these guys with my squad and MG. Let's see. No. So close. Come on, deal some damage. Oh, thank goodness. So I've pinned them down, which is nice. So they won't be able to move all of their troops in, even though, like, all of the nasty guys are still active, which is not great. So do I try to kill these guys, or do I start shooting up the big guys? And I'm feeling that I should start shooting up the big guys because they've got very nice attack ratings. And this paratrooper half squad is really not dangerous to us at all. Well, not too dangerous to us anyway. So because they're not going to assault us, it doesn't matter if they're just close to us. So I'm going to start attacking these guys, especially since they've got a nice leader and they're getting a decent bonus to their attacks. So let's see what I'm getting here. Okay, I've got a nice chance and a terrible roll. Oh, God. Okay, I'm not moving any of my troops, so let's see what the American paratroopers shoot at. Obviously, they're going for the big guys. And missing. Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay, I've lost one of my squads. Oh, okay, so I lost one of my half squads, and I actually reduced the full squad into a half squad. And you know what? I'm just gonna move away. I'm kind of scared of these guys, and now I'm out of their line of sight, which is great. And this is slightly scary. I'm kind of tempted to attack them, but at the same time, let's look at their line of sight in this hex. So, yeah. So let's do this. Okay, so, interesting. So if I move these guys here, and they will certainly win this battle and not lose too much. They will not be within the line of sight of these Americans, right? So they're not gonna... because my problem here is that this entrenchment doesn't give you a lot of support, a lot of defensive bonuses. So it gives you +2 instead of compared to +3 in a building, right? So I'll be slightly more vulnerable than usual, right? So, but I'm thinking this is worth it. So let's kill these guys because I need to kill as many enemies as I can. So. And I auto killed them. I actually don't remember the rules. As you can see, I haven't sustained any losses, which is great. I don't remember the rule, but there is, if the enemy unit, the defending unit, is weak enough, you can actually auto kill them without fighting. Maybe because they're pinned or something, I don't remember. But this was nice. This was nice. I didn't sustain any damage. Because sometimes, even if you've got overwhelming forces, sometimes you just get some damage and it's not great. Especially against weaker opponents, weaker units. Okay, let's see what these Andrews guys do. 6. That stupid commander. This is nasty. Okay, they're shooting. Okay, they failed. And I wonder what I should do here. So they're not moving. This is my defensive fire. Okay, at least, thankfully, I still have the MG, so I'll be able to get the second line. Yes, I'm getting 4. And so I've pinned them. They still have their full strength, so... But I've got at least some of it. And by the way, MG34 is a better light machine gun than BAR, which makes sense. Right, and these guys can't do anything, so I'll... Okay, it's defensive fire, so it's the American turn. Allied turn. Right, so my turn now. I'm not gonna do anything, so let's go to the fire phase, and yes, I'll start shooting these guys up. I'll try to suppress them as much as I can. Well, there's no suppression in this game, there's pinning, but yeah. And I'll probably... do I move away? Or do I keep attacking them? Because they don't have too much firepower there. So they've got 8. So it's the second line. And I've still got 20, which is excellent. And it's the 4th line. So I have a very good chance of dealing significant damage to them. Because if I decide to move, and I can actually move after they do defensive fire. So I can move as part of my assault movement. So you know what? I'm going to fire them. I'm going to shoot at them. And so let's see if I... No! It's a 10, obviously. It's the dice. It's the dice. Okay, so I'm gonna concentrate these guys here. These remnants of my, well, erstwhile very strong and brilliant squads. Let's hope I can deal some damage to the to the spears people. All right, so that's it for the movements. Let's see what the AI does. Well, it does the obvious thing. Oh, come on! Snake Eye! Oh, God. And, one of my units got pinned. And do I assault phase them now? Oh, this is horrifying. Yes, that's victory in Valor. Valor and victory. Well, maybe some Valor, no victory. Oh, God. This is terrible. Oh, thankfully they're attacking the bigger stack, not the pinned guys. So let's see if they move anywhere. Yes, they're moving. So for some reason they're assaulting, even though they don't need to. So let's do some defensive fire. No, they're not within line of sight. That building is obstructing us. So let's see how much damage we can deal. Yes, 4. Nice, nice. Finally, decent damage. Okay, so I've destroyed that half squad and pinned some of them. Excellent. And by the way, I didn't know if it's in the rules, but I've observed that general leaders die last. Even though it kind of doesn't really reflect on the actual practice of World War II, at least for the German officers, it makes sense that the officer dies last. It makes sense that the officer is behind the kind of main attacking line and everything, because they are the more valuable, the more experienced and trained person. So obviously, like in these kind of very cynical terms of war machine and everything, it's like the officer is more valuable, so they need to survive more because, well, they're more valuable because of the economy of the war. But really, in real life, at least for the German, for the Wehrmacht, it actually was the percentage of officers that died in battle actually was much higher than the percentage of just your enlisted people, enlisted men, actually dying in battle. So generally, officers died more often. Right, so at least I've moved these guys into another position. And let's see what the AI does. Well, they can only shoot with one of these, and they're probably getting a snake eye and another snake eye. No, got lucky there. And that building actually protecting me, because they've got a really nasty commander. And I wonder if I should get defensive, because I need to deal as much damage to them as I can. And this is turn 5, so I will only get one full turn more. So let's see. All right, let's see what the Americans do. Obviously, they'll shoot me up. Unlucky, thankfully. And they'll probably move the spears guys close to business. Huh. Okay. This is not great. Actually, this is putting me in a rather nasty position, because these guys are not that scary. They've got just 7. They've got just 7 firepower. This is giving them. Oh, thank you, Martin Ellis. I really appreciate it. I hope you also like me streaming on this channel, because I have a feeling that some people actually didn't like it, and I've got a bunch of unsubscribes. Which like strangely coincided with me announcing streams on this channel, because I if you don't know, I actually stream on Slytherin TV channel on Twitch, right? So my next stream is going to be on Thursday, and recently I've been doing Battle Sector. If you're interested in some of the upcoming Warhammer 40k games, I've been doing Battle Sector. Like, I've been the Battle Sector ambassador on that channel, and so yeah, so, and for some time, and it was essentially Slytherin that brought me to Twitch, to streaming even. Like, they told me, oh, we like your videos, would you like to stream for us? Right, so, and then I went for, like, I did streams on Twitch, like, private streams and everything. And I realized that, like, why am I splitting kind of my audience? I have, like, 5-something hundred people here on YouTube, which is not a huge amount, obviously, like, on the big scale, in a large scheme of things, but, like, it's 500 people who actually like my stuff, right? So it makes more sense. So I've decided to do these streams mostly for newer games, but also for games that I'm going to probably doing some planning to do or doing some content for in the future. And so, yeah, this is me here, and I hope you kind of enjoy this. This is certainly not going to be the only kind of content I'm published on this channel. Wait a sec, what happened? Oh yeah, I just got interesting. Sorry about this. I've got a tiny little technical glitch. You actually didn't see it, but I saw it. Actually, like the Windows actually switched Windows on me. All right, so back to the game. So we've got 2 targets, and I'm guessing despite the defensive bonus, these guys are much scarier. So they've got a firepower of 18, so it's a line 3. And these guys are getting a line 2. So obviously these are scarier. So let's go for it and attack them, especially since I've got quite a lot of concentration of power. And yes, I've pinned them, which is not a lot. I really want to at least inflict some damage. This is not great. Okay, so I've got some defense. This is my last chance. This is my last chance to actually get some firepower. Like, right now, I don't have many decisions to make. This is just up to the dice. Right, so let's see if the dice are benevolent. They kind of are. I've pinned a few of those pouch. I'm pinning the same squad all the time. Like, it's not even the good squad. Like, the squad I'd really like to pin. Like, the BAR and everything. No. So, let's see what the... This is not great. This is not great. Yeah, obviously, the AI is getting a 5, and I'm sustaining casualties. They're getting a 5, and I'm sustaining casualties now! And it's just that defensive fire. I've just lost one of my squads. Oh, God. Oh, God. Yes, this game is really, like, I think in a way it's kind of this YouTube streamer fodder. Because it's, like, it really... Sometimes the game really likes to torture you by giving the AI incredible rolls. Yeah, I'm losing my squads, one after another. Yes, I've lost half my squad manning the heavy machine gun. Alright, so I'll try to deal as much damage as I can. And I'm getting terrible rolls. I'm getting crap. God. Oh, this is not great. But yeah, so this obviously, like, yes. So we've run out of time. So 6 out of 6. The enemy has inflicted significant casualties. The Germans have suffered a minor defeat. Right, and congratulations, we've failed. But as you can see, so absolutely, because this game is actually coming out in like 4 days, buyer beware. Buyer beware. If you don't like if you don't like the frustration of sometimes not getting the right dice rolls, maybe this game is not for you, right? So sometimes it's very swingy. At the same time, it's very board gamey. It's really reminding me of Memoir 44. It's one of the lighter tabletop war games. If you really haven't tried it, like, if you get a chance to try it, it's very light, it's very easy, it's a very simple system, but it's very dice rolly. You get like these custom dice, and they're pretty nice, and you've got miniatures and everything, but sometimes it's just, yeah, like you feel like you're stupid, but you know, it's just you're getting terrible luck. Right, so it really reminds me of the King of Tokyo tabletop game, which is not a World War II or war game. Really, it's kind of about these kind of Japanese-style monsters, and it's a rather light game, but once again, it's a really fun game, but it's very swingy. You really depend on the dice and what you do with them, and sometimes you getting crap rolls. You're like, what you actually saw here? Right, so let's look at something else. Let's look at the tanks. And to be honest, prior to this stream, I actually played the game for maybe 4 hours. And so it's just been today that I actually got into the way tanks work in this system, right? So because it was kind of a bit arcane to me how tanks work, and I'd like to present it to you because I think it's been almost 1 hour in the stream, so I've got like 35 minutes more. I've have some time to do. I still have time to do. No, that didn't work at all. I still have some stuff to do, and it's pretty late today. And so, yeah, so it's 90-minute stream, and I'd like to show off these tanks and how they work, because like it's a compelling system. I don't know how fun it is in tabletop, because I have a feeling this game is a bit cumbersome in tabletop, and so it's in a computer game. I think it's pretty sleek and makes a lot of sense without going into the nitty-gritty, without going into like trying to simulate all of the armor plates and everything, like going the War Thunder / World of Tanks kind of thing. So Bigger Gun, I agree with you. So once again, Bigger Gun beware, buyer beware. So the game, it's kind of very random, but you need to go into it with a kind of this very board game mentality. So very many board games are very dice reliant, and sometimes you just need to embrace it. And I think it may be very frustrating against the AI, because it's AI, so like you don't have a person. That's one of the strengths of board games. Sometimes you're playing against a friend, sometimes you're playing against your spouse or other family member, and you have an experience, like you have a bonding experience and everything. And sometimes it's fun to suffer together in a playful way. Oh, okay, that didn't sound right. Anyway, so it can also be done with war games. It's not just chains and whips, right? And so, yeah, right. So let's go for the southern block. I don't think I've seen this scenario, and the game suggests that we play as Axis. So we've got a couple of tanks. So we've got this nice, actually, interestingly, so we've got Panzer 3D, which is an early model, and we've got Panzer 3J, which is one of the later versions of Panzer 3. And so, okay, let me just look at the chat. So, that's my only problem with digital random dice. It never feels random like real dice. I know it makes it more fun as you can't control everything, but with these types of games, yes. And Bigger Gun says, I get that, but at the same time, Use of Command is built on dice rolls as well. The game does manage to hide it quite well, and therefore removes a lot of the frustration. But, like, once again, I kind of agree with Bigger Gun here. I agree with Martin Ellis as well. So, once again, it can be unpleasant to some people, might actually detract some people. Like, once again, I probably, like, I'll send actually a link to the Slytherin guy that actually gave me the key to this game, Paolo. Hello. So I'll send them the link he actually asked me to if I do any content about this game, and I'll send him this link. This might appear somewhere in Slytherin stuff, right? So, but anyway, so my point is, if you don't like very swinging games, very random games, be careful. You're probably not going to like it, even though there's a lot to like about this game. Right, so, and Unity of Command, obviously, with Unity of Command 2, you get many abilities. With Unity of Command 1, I can't play it. I can't play it right now. I really enjoyed it. I completed everything there is to complete about Unity of Command 1. It's way too swingy. It's way too random. It's way you just need to do everything perfect. You need perfect rolls. It's not just do everything perfect. You need perfect rolls. And in Unity of Command 2, you get so many additional tools. You get all of those abilities. You get all of those cards. You have stuff to play around with, and which really diminishes and really mitigate terrible rolls. Right, so this game, obviously, as you can see, this is a kind of very faithful rendition, very faithful representation of what's... Oh, I forgot about the objective. I think XTRG did this scenario on Slytherin TV. Right, so I really wanted to... So it's kind of obviously they can't easily change the system. They're trying to do a faithful representation. And I have read the manual. I at least looked into the manual for the board game, right? So, and it's pretty much the same manual, minus some of the stuff that still, is not available in this specific war theater, so theater of war, which kind of suggests that there might be other stuff like North Africa and everything, because I know that there have been like in the board game version of the system, there are jungles and there is desert and everything. So yeah, there's potential for other stuff, because obviously, like if you look at the kind of the island jumping, like in the Pacific, right? So like this scale is very appropriate for those. You've got this squad platoon scale, right? So you never control more than a company of troops, and a company is a lot for this game, right? So you've got like maybe 2 platoons at the most, so like a half a company, right? So and yeah. So let me just take a look at the chat, and we'll talk about the tanks, how they work in this game, and how tank combat and anti-tank combat actually works in this game. Right, so it's some ability issue with combat formula. UOC, I kind of disagree with you, Zenta Belgrad, to an extent. UOC 1 is very puzzly. It has obviously the right choices you can make. It's not just about like going for, okay, I need to do everything perfect. UOC 2 gives you enough tools, gives you enough control for it not to be very random, for it not to be too kind of, no, this is not happening. This it's not. I know there is a puzzly element to it, and earlier stuff, like in Use of Command 2, content was puzzlier than it is. Actually, I recently covered the Barbarossa DLC, and I actually have completed it on hard, which is a difficulty level which you shouldn't be playing at all, right? So it says so in the game, right? So and they're growing. The developers of Unity Command are growing, and it's really nice to see. And Barbarossa DLC is the best. It's pretty much very little of very strict puzzling. There are pretty much just one mission that does that. It's really annoying about that. But otherwise, yeah, I know it's not one of the best parts of the game. Right, so back to Valorant Victory. And obviously, yeah, I can agree with bigger guns. So there is an element to puzzle elements to hex-based war games. Maybe exceptions are always these kind of very big, huge map games, like War in the East, right? So War in the East 2, I actually haven't yet completed. Like, I want to get into that system, and I've got the manual. And I'm gonna read it up, and probably there will be streams or maybe videos, like proper scripted videos about it. I'm really interested in that system, but it will take some time for me to get into it. Also, like Hearts of Iron series, right? So in Hearts of Iron, obviously this is not a strictly war game. It's not a hex-based, but it's a grand enough strategy for you to actually shape your army, shape what you do, and, well, do different things. Obviously, the geography is the same, but otherwise, there's more freedom. If you have just one map, and terrain matters, right? So different terrains give you different bonuses or penalties. Yes, there will be an element of a puzzle. If you've got a mountain range across the map, you're gonna have to find ways to cross it somehow, right? So you're not gonna have a complete freedom of action. Right, so back to Valorant Victory. So we've got these tanks, and the tanks are really interesting. So the tanks are like they've got very nice way in that kind of how to say it. They've got a very nice way in how they're modeled. So as you can see, so we've got these letters. And we've got these numbers, right? So the numbers always represent the anti-personnel ability, the anti-personnel firepower. So in this case, we've got 6 is the gun, of the, as far as I remember, it was the gun, or was it? Yeah, I think it was the gun, or was it? I really don't remember. So one of these is the gun against personnel, And the other two numbers are the machine guns in the tanks. So they kind of all add up, so up to 13. So we get 13. So this is a newer model, actually, of Panzer III, and it gets 17. So it's get a lot more anti-tank capability. I'm assuming this probably, the number on the left is the gun. So 10 it probably has. It still has the 50mm gun, probably better shells or something. Right, so then you have the B and C thing. And so... And this is essentially the AT capacity. I'm not going to fight any American tanks here, but the higher the letter, the better. It goes from A to F, and, well, this is what you get, right? So the higher the better. So the higher the chance of you actually getting somewhere. And so once again, you've got these Panzer IIIs, newer Panzer IIIs having better guns. And then you've got the armor. And so you can see, so once again, the higher the letter, it goes from A to F, and it's all on a table. Obviously, we'll see the table later. So A, hopefully not, but we'll see. On A to F, the higher the letter, the better, right? So, okay, I see there is a discussion, a parallel discussion in the chat. I really enjoy to see that. Okay, I really don't need to check the chat. So the chat happens like in parallel. So C. Well, yeah, so it's just regardless of the facing of the tank, in this case, in the case of 3D, of Panzer 3D, so it gets a C rating on armor. And so essentially, whenever combat happens, whenever someone tries to attack my tank, it looks at its AT capacity, we look at the armor capacity of the tank, we roll dice for bonuses, and we look at the table and see if there is any damage. So pretty much if we hit... we penetrate. If we penetrate, we kill the tank. So if it's a weak damage, it's kind of usually immobilizes the tank, but otherwise it's very easy to kill a tank if you can actually penetrate the armor. And as you can see, the Americans here have bazookas, and they have C level of penetration, so it's kind of just under average. And I'm guessing it will just for shits and giggles, we'll try to lose this tank. So as you can see, the Panzer IIIJ has a different thing. So it's got this D stroke C, right? So D is in the front facing, essentially the frontal three sides of the hex it is in, right? So, and the C is on the back facing. So this is to represent, obviously, the stronger armor of the tank. So, as you probably know, the Germans were actually increasing the frontal armor of their tanks of Panzer IIIs and Panzer IVs, but did not do too much to the side and the back armor, rear armor of those tanks. So this is actually represents this, and I feel like this is a very kind of simple, but kind of at the same time pretty faithful representation of what these tanks were. All right, so. We've got, what do we have to do? I'm guessing I will lose a couple of tanks, but once again, I think this is a very much a destruction mission. Kill as many Americans as you can. Hello, we're North Korea. Anyway, so... Yeah, so let's see. I'm guessing, obviously, the Americans have lots of bazookas, and these bazookas give us... they have a range of 4, so if I go with my tank here... They will, if I move this tank here, even here, even though it's kind of within line of sight of some of the American troops, so it might be a good idea to use this. So this hex is death, or potential, very, very likely death, or potential death, right? So, and actually there are 2 bazookas actually aiming at this point. I'm very highly discouraged from ever entering it right now. At the same time, I've got a couple of strong platoons. I don't know why I have Panzerfaust, because the Americans don't have any tanks. And I have this platoon, which is, once again, very well equipped. So, essentially the same equipment, and they have leaders and everything, and nothing serious. And the Americans have... troops. Right, so let's see what happens. So I really don't need none of that. So I'm guessing I'll move my infantry up here. And we'll see how it goes, what I do with my tanks. So I'll certainly use my tanks to fire at the enemy. We've got a bunch of... Okay, so... Oh, I see. So they're not in line of sight. So only these guys are kind of vulnerable to my tanks right now. And as you can see, I've got quite a lot of firepower. And I'm already pinning them. Let's see if I can actually kill them. Yes! Yes! Oh, getting lucky. That probably was my luckiest roll of this entire mission. Right, so I don't think I can use my shoot with any of my infantry, so I'll wait for the move. And I'm guessing... Okay, so I wonder... So what should I do? Should I move... obviously for Kleinert, I should just move into the woods and start shooting at these guys. But what about Linzen? So should I go to the west and maybe be defensive against these guys? And I see that they're not that strong. It's just a squad and a half. They'll probably not move these bazooka paratroopers, right? So they really want to prevent my tanks from moving in there. Alternatively, I could go into these houses and maybe try helping actually concentrate my firepower, concentrate my fire, and actually try and destroy these guys first. So I'm guessing this is what I'll do. Right, and let's see if the actual line of sight is decent. Oh, interesting. So I could actually focus on specific troops. You know what? Okay, let's. But yeah, and this place is kind of vulnerable. This is slightly better defended. You know what? I'll get. At the same time, I'm kind of tempted to move into this hex because I want to kill the bazooka guy. Both of the bazooka guys. And I will not go onto a lot of fire because both of these are half squads with bazookas. And so they actually will get the second line on the battle prediction table. But I'll try and chance it. Let's see how it goes. Okay, they're not using any attacks of opportunity. So let me move my Kleinert platoon in. And let's see what the allies do. Okay, they're pinning us. Okay, let me look at the chats. Oh god, I feel like I sustained some damage. As soon as I look away look away from the battlefield to look at the chat, I get damage. Right, so I'm not advancing. As you can see, so the tanks and vehicles can actually either do one turn just to change their facing, and for this tank it doesn't really matter. It's got weak armor all everywhere. So probably like 20 to 30 millimeters of armor. Or they can actually move in the direction of their facing. So facing also matters in other things, in other ways. Right, I'm not assaulting anyway. I'll try to use my firepower and focus my fire. Right, so... come on, these guys. Okay. I feel tempted. Oh, this is a terrible position. No, this was a mistake. But this position is extremely good. I should have probably taken both of these buildings and tried to kill these guys on the flank. But yeah, the Kleinert platoon has already lost one full squad. And the squad with the machine gun. Arrgh! This is terrible. Okay, payback time. No. No. God. Come on, do it. No. Let's at least try and kill... Okay, these guys... Oh, interesting. So they're just in foxholes, and they're very vulnerable. Let's see if I can exploit it. No. Oh, I could. I just pinned them. Brilliant. And obviously, I've just got one guy with a submachine gun, not doing anything because his range is 3. He can't do anything. He's way too far. But I made a mistake. Okay, let's see. The Bulgarad says they have combined two things that make huge problems: low granularity and bin drills. Huge swings, but thing a pair. Panzer Corps 2. Okay, I'm not gonna disclose anything, but you can expect a big comparison of Panzer Corps 1, Panzer Corps 2. Just it's gonna be super biased. I love Panzer Corps 2. I highly appreciate Panzer Corps 1, but I'm not gonna play Panzer Corps 1 at all anymore. I mean, I will play some of it actually in the coming weeks, but it's been supplanted in my opinion. There are only two reasons. I'm gonna disclose my opinion. There are only two reasons if you are like of playing Panzer Corps 1 over Panzer Corps 2. If you've got a weak computer, so Panzer Corps 1 will run on like ancient netbooks from 2007 or something. Probably not, but like you get the point. So you can like run Panzer Corps 1 on a very weak computer. And two, Panzer Corps 1 has crap loads of content for it. I have played Panzer Corps 1 for probably about 1,500 hours, and I have obviously all of the expansions and everything. There are a bunch of expansions I haven't even seen, especially for the Western allies. It just didn't happen, right? So there's so much content, and even without the discounts, it costs like what, 25 euros, like the gold version that has everything. So these are the two advantages of Panzer Corps 1 over 2. Otherwise, like the game mechanics, everything is just Panzer Corps 2 is hands down better in every way. And I'll talk about it, and I'll talk about why, and I'll do comparisons, because I've seen many people, like, I've read some of the reviews, and I'm gonna review it, because if you don't know, like, in early July, it's gonna be 10 years, the 10 years anniversary of the Panzer Corps series, right? So Panzer Corps 1 came out on the 10th, I think, July 2011, and, well, yes, I kind of like to do something special, because I haven't done it, despite the fact that I have done a lot of content about Panzer Corps 2. Okay, come on, give me something. No. Oh, nice. Okay, so I can actually move my tanks in at this point. So, as you can see, I'm not... Oh, there is a bazooka. And 1, 2, 3... Ah, you bastards. Okay, time to die. No. Oh, give it to me. No. Very close. Okay, let's see if I... they're very much within the line of sight. And, oh, this is terrible. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I can move Clannad here and get these guys into this building. It's pretty well defended. So this is what I'll do. Yeah. Please. Oh, thank goodness. Oh, no! No. This is terrible. And, yeah. This is how it'll have to be. All right, let's look at me. Look at me. Let's look at the chat. Obviously, sustaining casualties. Thankfully, didn't lose my MG. Advanced Tactics Gold. I haven't played it actually. Right. Probably the best non-dice. Martin Ellis, do you mean like Advanced Tactic Gold is the best non-dice game, right? Interesting. I'll look into it. I actually haven't seen, this is the first time I hear about it. So, Panzer Elites and blast away. All right, so about UOC, and if you don't know, Bigger Gun knows. Bigger Gun has left some of the like his or her, I don't know, trademark huge comments, very informative. I appreciate them. So in some of my videos, so if you don't know, I have a parallel channel, which is Slothaboo McGudgebuttock, where I just drop anything that is not very difficult to make, right? So, and there I actually did a... Oh, I can have 2 tanks, which is nice. And yeah, let's keep assaulting. So, and I essentially did a video for every mission of the Valor DLC for Unity of Command 2 on hard, which is effectively a playthrough of the entire mission. Like, I'm very happy that Unity of Command 2 has the replay features, like made my life so easy, and actually made those videos possible, because it didn't take me a lot of effort to actually make those videos. And I just did some commentary talking about the game, all sorts of advice and tips, and just yakking. All right, so I had enough of Unity of Command 2 for some time right now. So yes, I actually am interested in doing the Victory in the West, so the base campaign of Unity of Command 2, because actually it's been, if you don't know, it's very different. I love the developers of Unity of Command 2, the 2x2 games, because sometimes they just do insane stuff, like insane in the best way possible. Right, so, and one of the things, one of the insane things that they did for... Oh, can I do... No, I can actually shoot them separately. So, was pretty much rehash the base campaign. So, they started... Oh, I did some damage. Oh, nice. Is the bazooka live? Yes. So it doesn't matter. So, essentially, they completely changed the base campaign in Unity of Command 2. Oh, nice. Oh, nice. Bazooka? Oh, come on! Right, so... These guys don't have bazookas. You know what? Let's kill these guys, because I really hate the fact that they've got the -2 leader. And the problem is that I played the game when it just came out. Oh, so I've pinned the bazooka guy. And so I completed the campaigns because I wanted to do a review of Unity of Command 2. And then they completely changed this, and I haven't properly played the base campaign after it was changed. After it got changed, and really, I'm really looking forward to it, but I really got tired. I've really got tired of Unity of Command. I love it, but there is a limit to how much I can tolerate it. And I've gone way far past it. Really, I don't mind playing some more of it, but there are so many games that I'd like to play. This included, and also maybe not just World War II games. I really enjoy World War II, but there are many games. It's not just World War II for me. If you haven't seen, check out my actually came out a month ago. So Pharaoh, kind of retrospective overview. I really like to do some other games from that period, and there is going to be a cracking video about Pharaoh, because, well, the series is reasonably popular, and there is a new game coming, actually a remake of Pharaoh. And yes, there's going to be a video about the entire series of these games, which were like 8 games, and some of them are pretty unique, so I'd like to talk about this. Right, so these guys are kind of vulnerable. At the same time, I want to kill the bazookas. Yeah, kill the bazookas. Yes! Yes! No, yes. So they've just got the laser. And, yeah, what about the line of sight? Oh, so the line of sight is terrible here. And if you don't know, so there is a stacking limit for every hex. So you can't have more than 4 kind of squads. So the support weapons don't count. And so if you are past at the end of if you go beyond the stacking limits by the end of the movement, I think you lose troops. They just died. They just don't care. Right, so it's my fire, and I'm obviously going to use my tanks. But still, this is dangerous. And actually, I really need to destroy that bazooka. I could actually chance it and move my tank in, but no. Let's just kill that leader. Hopefully we'll kill him. Yeah, he's dead. And now I really don't... Okay, so I've got the better armored tank actually shooting, and he will get the D rating for his armor. So I'm guessing next up I will try and move out and maybe hopefully not die from that bazooka. Or we will see something spectacular happen, like me losing a tank. Alright, so let's move my infantry to an... Oh, interesting. Oh. Holy crap! Oh, God. Huh, interesting. So... yes, I lost a bunch of guys. I lost a squad here. Oh my God. But at least their guys are out of movement, and I'll, yes, do... just to make sure I get a D rating on my armor. Right, so allied defensive fire, they can't do anything. Well, almost. Oh god. They get decent rolls, that's what they're guessing. And I'm guessing this is it. I can't do any advance and assault. I'm kind of scared for my other tank. So, you know what? Let's move in. Screw it. Okay, let's see what the Americans do. Because I need to kill as many of them as possible, right? So, ideally kill all of them. And I've been doing pretty well. So, as you can see... and probably it's going to reset. It reset. So, as you can see, the table is slightly different. So, and as you can see, the higher your defense is, the higher the number, or the higher the lesser of the defense is, the better. And so, essentially, kind of depending on where these things intersect, so on what the cell on the table is, you need to roll a number less than that. So if it's equal, so if, for example, it says 7, if it's equal, if you roll 7, like a 3 and 4, you immobilize the tank. If it gets anything lower than that, you kill the tank. That's pretty much it. And really, for these kind of shaped charge weapons, like bazookas and everything, and Panzerfaust, it's pretty much like it. So if you penetrate, like, the guys inside are dead. You've got, like, this tiny little hole in the tank, and it, like, everybody, there's nobody alive inside, like, except for bacteria or something. Right, so, like, with early war weapons, like high caliber machine guns, and smaller caliber, like, anti-tank rifles and everything, sometimes they're not very good at doing damage beyond armor, right? So you get more, like, kills from spalling inside the armor. So it wasn't uncommon for tanks actually be penetrated and actually not, and the crew not being killed or still being able to fight. But, like, late war, no. Evil Toaster says, I always wondered if you learned all the foreign words like Tan names because you seem to pronounce them so well. So, first of all, I speak a bunch of languages, right? So it helps. I speak a bunch of European languages. Also, if I go for missions like if I go for videos like Unity of Command 2, if I go for Panzer Corps 2, if you've got, like, stuff with real-life cities and names, I look pronunciations up. There is... Hey, you know what? I'm going to leave it for you. There's this place called Forvo.com. Forvo.com. So, people can upload their pronunciations of words in different languages. Obviously, it's native speakers and everything. And you can find, like, it's been around for, like, maybe 7 or 8 years now. And so there's, like, essentially a Wikipedia for pronunciations. And it's full of all sorts of stuff, including geographical names. And so if you really need to find out about correct pronunciations of stuff, the way native speakers pronounce them, I highly recommend you to actually go there and check it out. It's a good source, but also knowing languages also helps. And by the way, I got lucky with my bazooka, defending against bazookas. So let's fire back. It's defensive fire after all, of course. I'm getting 12. They don't care. The bazooka guys. Okay. Damaging the bazooka guys, but only pinning them. Well, at least they are... I wonder if they'll get unpinned at the beginning of my turn. Mr. Kleinert. Right, axis. And these guys are completely worthless at range. I'm thinking of actually going up to these Lloyd guys and maybe trying to assault them with my grenades. Okay, so I'm not changing anything during this phase. And, well, keep blasting these guys with tanks. And hopefully I'll kill them. Or kill enough of them. And now... because I really need to... I need those bazooka... Oh, yes! Thank you. And the bazooka guys are still alive. Arrgh. But at least I've damaged their squads. So let's keep shooting. No. But at least the bazooka guys are pinned. That's a good start. Or something. Right. No. Yeah. So this is it for the movements, and I'm not getting any bazooka trouble. Wait, what? Okay. Oh, they missed. And they... Ah, come on, I'm taking casualties. And more casualties. No. Oh, thank goodness. Obviously, I've lost all of my MGs. If the squad dies, the support weapons dies with it, and that sucks. Oh, by the way, yeah, everyone is in the line of sight, so let's move these guys in. And this is it. Let's see what the Americans do. Evil Toaster, I have played Hearts of Iron. I haven't played 4. So I've played 2 and 3. I really enjoyed 3. I'm taking a very long break from Paradox games. I used to be a huge fan of Paradox games. Essentially, until Hearts of Iron 4 came out, and I kind of just realized that I wasn't interested and just stopped playing them. And but I used to be a huge fan of Crusader Kings 2, of Europa Universalis 4 and 3. But yeah, Hearts of Iron is a brilliant game, so I can't say about 4, but 3 it has funky bits. It has funky bits, and sometimes it just doesn't work too well. But I adore Orders of Battle. Okay, so I'm pinning them at least. I adore Orders of Battle. I like the division planning. I like the counters and everything. And so it's just brilliant. It's lovely. I like sometimes I just in Hearts of Iron 3, and I haven't played these games for years right now, and because they take so much time I really don't have. And let's do some fire. But I like in Hearts of Iron 3. I really just enjoyed playing as the Soviets, starting at 1936, and they've got a huge mess of their army, and just sitting and arranging everything into nice 3-division corps and everything, like building these tank armies. It was just like building stuff up because I don't have enough troops in that particular army on that particular corps. And it's just lovely. It's kind of a management game. Obviously, like, eventually, like, build these troops and just sweep Europe and everything. But there is a lot of enjoyment to have, a lot of joy to have in these management parts of the game. Okay, this is my last turn. This is my last chance to actually deal any serious damage to the enemies. And I did! And I do! And the bazooka is still alive. There's still a chance of me losing a tank. Yes. Die. Yes. Finally. Okay, these guys will move up. Oh, I should have... Oh, no! Oh, got lucky there. By the way, how... Oh, yes. So... How did they get that anti-personnel firepower? Is this some sort of a modifier? I wonder, because they only have 6, but they are kind of counting as 22. I'm suspecting this is not a glitch. It may be some sort of a thing, because I moved into this point-blank distance. It might be something like that. But thankfully, these guys are out of moves, out of actions, so they will not do defensive fire. These will... But they will not. So this officer is not within range, which is brilliant. And I'll be able to assault these guys, which was what I'm planning to do, because these guys have grenades. And this is my chance. So, no defensive fire. And let's see if I succeeded that assault. Bang. Okay. Nice. And so the Americans only have one officer not dead. And I've effectively won this mission. Okay, they've got the Allied turn, so I still have the chance of actually wiping the enemy out in this map. So it's my defensive fire. Let's do. Oh, this actually, to be honest, this is my best victory in this game so far. I'm really happy about myself. Okay. Ah, so close. Ah, no. No. No wipeouts, only bot wipeouts. Okay. And that obviously not doing anything. Access turn. Oh, crap! My best played mission, and I forgot. I didn't look at the objectives. I had to hold that hex, and I could have actually held it because I really didn't need to waste my tanks actually shooting. But okay, let's count it as a victory. Right. So it's been slightly over an hour and a half. Let me just look at the. It was actually I was supposed to hold one of those hexes. It had like the American star on it. So, and I missed, I just clicked through the beginning of the mission, so it said so, American sector, it was the southern block. And so the attacker must control all objectives at any point in the game to win. So there's was one objective where there was this officer with the -2 bonus, one of the stronger officers. And yes, I failed. Okay, I'm really happy about the way it turned out. So once again, like this is kind of, it has very much a board game sense that you, like, it's not like this game tells you, oh, you're victorious and everything. You gotta decide your victory for yourself, right? So, and in board games, very much something like that generally happens. You're playing against the other person, hopefully they're a friend or relative, and you're just having fun, and then you kind of, like, yeah, maybe, like, one of them technically wins, but then you may discuss stuff, and, like, okay, so I did this really well, and they're, like, got very unlucky with the rolls, and just went into this and failed ultimately, but, like, that's, I think the game, Valor and Victory, actually really is pretty good at representing what the system is. I'm, let me just look at the chat. Hearts of Iron, 4 is not Hearts of Iron. Iron says Zenda Belgrade. Okay. 4 feels like EU4 with a World War II skin. I have heard that argument, and it looks like it is. No real sense of building army. No army structure. All right, so. Okay, so let's conclude with what I have to say about this game. So. Obviously, this is still pre-release. I'm suspecting this game, as you can see, this is 1.00, 0.00, etc., etc. It's all binary in the build, so it's like kind of full game, but maybe there may be like patches and maybe updates before this, before the release. It's still 4 days, and I'm betting the developers are frantically doing all of the last bits, all of the last touches. So, generally, I really enjoy it. As you can see, this is a fast game. You can, like, this is a lunchtime game, really, if you have a computer, like, next to your lunch place, right? So, and it's obviously a light game. It's not, like, in terms of computer resources and everything. It doesn't have a lot of stuff in it. And so, you can actually play a single scenario, a single battle, like, in half an hour, easily, right? So, especially if you know what you're doing. It's good fun. It's good fun. It's accessible. Unfortunately, I found it's a bit slightly less accessible than it should have been for its lightness. I wish it had, for example, it had features like maybe right-clicking on a hex to see what bonuses you might get there, like terrain bonuses and everything, right? Stuff like that. Maybe streamline the line of sight tool. It's a bit cumbersome. You have to click on it to switch it on and click it off to switch it off, right? So it's additional clicks that you really don't need. And line of sight is critical in this game. And sometimes it's not super obvious unless you're very experienced with the system, right? And so, like, there are a couple of UI things that make this game slightly make you do slightly more clicks than you should have, right? So, but otherwise, and maybe like a slightly better tutorials. Unfortunately, the tutorial kind of gives you the basics, gets you into the infantry combats, but doesn't go too much into support weapons and doesn't go at all into tanks and tank combat. And I actually had to read it up and figure it out because you've got crap loads of numbers. What do they mean, right? And maybe a little more in the tutorial, and maybe some improvements in the interface. But otherwise, this is not game breaking. And you can, like, if you're not scared by manuals, if you're not like maybe reading the manual for 15 minutes. Okay, it's not serious. You don't have to read like legal books or something. It's very legible. It's not difficult, right? So not difficult reading. Right, so I wonder if there are manuals in other languages. Actually, the game is in other languages, but it's as we can see, there are 6 languages, right? So I don't know if the manual is in different languages. I'm not sure. Oh, actually, we can check it. Let's go for German, for example. And, yeah, Spiele Handbuch. And let's see if we've got the actual... No, it's not German manual. No, it's English. So the manual is only English. So 15 minutes of manual. You don't have to read all of this. Just a few things, just a few terms, and you'll be prepared for the game. It's really fast. It's good fun. It can be swingy because of the dice, but I enjoyed it. It's really good, quick fun. And you don't have to commit yourself too much to this game. So, if it's something for you, if you feel like... I don't know, like, I think maybe there is... I don't know what the price point for it is, right? So, maybe it's a bit too expensive for what it is. I don't know. I just have no clue. There's no information. The press release I've got, so no clue. But I don't think it's going to be expensive. I hope it's not. It's a very light game, and I think it should attract the audience that is interested in kind of this swingy, maybe slightly dramatic because of the dice game that is also light and kind of like lunchtime game that gives you some World War II fun. And I'm really looking forward to other areas and other theaters of war. Definitely, I'd like to do something in the islands, because to be honest, like systems like Unity of Command 2, Panzer Corps 2, the scale is a bit too big for these games to like easily go into, say, the island hopping and doing like Okinawa and all of those other islands, Iwo Jima, etc. So because like, yes, it's concentrated, but it's not a lot of land and everything. And this system, with its very zoomed in combat, it would be perfect for that. I'd really like to see that. I'd really like to see the jungle and these landings and everything. So there's a lot of potential to this, and I really hope this game, takes off. Yeah, so it gets a decent audience, because I think it deserves it. Alright, so let me just take the final look at the chats, and we'll be saying my goodbyes, right? So, Martin Ellis Ward says, I love the chat, no one is talking about Victory and Valor, but everything else. Really, this game, to be honest, it's a simple game. It's a small game, right? So, there's not much to talk about. It's just, like, okay, so Operation Overlord. You fight, like, Americans, the British, well, other factions, actually. Like Canadians aren't represented, unfortunately. Maybe something to add later against the Germans. Like, it's been all over the place. It's been everywhere. So, obviously, there's not much to talk about. There's a small game. It should be played. It's good fun. If you're fine with the dice, it's good fun. And you obviously have enough tools and have ability and lots of movement skill. If there is a lot of kind of positioning your troops, there is a learning curve to this game. It's not just, rolled your dice to win. Sometimes it does happen. There are situations like that, and dice decide a lot. But skill matters, and I wouldn't have been able to play as well as I did in last mission, right? Had I not had some experience behind my back. Behind my belt, not back. Right, so... So, I don't know if there are going to be any more theaters and nations, but it's natural because the Valor and Victory, the board game, actually has it. And that's the only difference between the Valor and Victory board game manual and the video game manual. They just cut some of the stuff that just isn't in the video game, possibly yet. So, I'm really looking forward to it taking off so that they actually publish those expansions and just really, really want to see. It's a small game. It's kind of indie-ish game, but it's really enjoyable. I really liked my way with it, my time with it. I really enjoy the graphics and the board game feel. It's very, very good in terms of like creating this board game feel, and I wonder what people will think when they do play multiplayer. I generally not a very much video game multiplayer player. I prefer doing it at a tabletop, and so we'll see how it goes. All right, so thanks everyone for listening to all of this for almost 2 hours. Thanks for joining. Thanks for holy crap! This was a brilliant conversation in the chat. I really enjoyed having you guys chatting. Well, I'm guessing you will meet later. And this is it. Cheers.